Good morning, everybody. It's Friday. United are playing in 3 days. The long wait is nearly over. 13 days between West Ham and United playing Everton. We'll preview the game a little bit later in today's show, but it's Friday, which means we're going to have the quiz. We're going to have the latest giveaway. Get involved. That's going to happen later in the show. We'll get the map up. Of course, the community map, because it's Friday. We'll also speak through the latest United news like we do every morning. We'll run through Carrick's interview with Mark Chapman on the BBC. It's a good interview. We'll also speak about the Everton game, as I said, players returning to training, anything on transfers, anything else you want me to speak about. It's Friday. What are you all getting up to this weekend? Who's got good plans? Who's doing what? United aren't playing until Monday. I think, you want to know a horrible stat? Plenty of them these days. I think United are only playing on the weekend in 2 out of the next 7 weekends. Yeah. Anyway, let me say hello to everyone. How you doing? Maddie, good morning to you. Any other mods down here? We've got Josh, I saw you there as well. We're quite quiet in the mod gang today. No one else tuning in. Unbelievable. Part-timers. We've also got Alex, good morning to you as well, mate. We've got Jace, we've got Sasha, Teresa, we've got Smee, we've got Mr. Wood, we've got Saeed and some non-members. We've got Jimmy Beef, we've got Fats, 666, we've got Poz, we've got Bluefoot, and good morning to you, Toby, gifting 5 memberships, dude. You're a ledge. All of you are. Community is. Even in these quieter times, we call it. Mate, you're not going to get a Saturday 3 o'clock kickoff with United these days. Let's be completely honest. TV takes over. Right, let's run through the news. As always, throughout the entire show, please do get involved in the chat. Fire in your comments and your questions if you want to get involved. I'll try and engage with as many of you as I can. Like last night, the latest episode of the podcast went out on YouTube. Oh man, there is so much content to do these days. Because I don't know, we're just trying my best to try and bring a big variety of what we're doing. So we're doing the podcast twice a week and the videos go out twice a week. And then we've got the shorts that we're now doing most days. And then we've got the live, mate. It's a lot. I'm enjoying it, but it's a lot. I hope you're enjoying it as well. Yeah. That's all I want to say. Now, I actually want to start with this. Because this is the stat that everybody, you just go down the pub, you ask, this is the first question that pops into everybody's head. How would the Premier League look if shots that hit the woodwork have gone in? I ask myself that question at least 3 times a day. What a random table for Opta to pull together. Anyway, if United's shots that hit the woodwork went in, we'd be 2 points off top. It's good to know. You can bury that thought now. I think United might have hit the woodwork more times than anyone else in the Premier. I think it's like 18 times. What random thing for Opta to do? That's when you know there hasn't been football in a good old while. Lads, you got any talking? Yeah, Steve, I've got an idea. Just hear me out on this one. Random. Anyway, the men's team might not be playing, but the women's team are not just playing, they are smashing it. They absolutely walloped Atletico Madrid in the Champions League knockout round. 2-0 at Lee Sports Village, 3-0 from the week before, 5-0 on aggregate. And now the women's team are through to the quarterfinals. And look at that. United are playing Bayern Munich, whilst Real Madrid are playing Barca, Arsenal are playing Chelsea, and Wolfsburg are playing Lyon. Jeez. So if United manage to get past Bayern Munich, I don't actually know this. I'm pretty sure that Lyon are the best women's team, aren't they? Well, they have been over the last few years. I don't know whether that's exactly the same now. Barca, I think Barca, and looking at this bracket, Barca and Lyon jumped straight to the quarterfinals, so they didn't have to do a playoff round. Oh no, Bayern Munich did as well. Quite a few did. I get you. 4 teams went straight to the quarters, and 4 teams had to go through via playoffs. Could they do it? I mean, they might be able to do it. Somebody who had a cracking game again yesterday, Jess Park, scorcher of a goal. It's just good to see the women's team developing. Good to see the women's team having some success in a competition that Manchester United haven't bloody been in a long time. So hopefully they can go all the way. That'd be awesome. If I'm correct, this is the first time that the women's team have been in the Champions League. Just been in the Champions League or just been in the Champions League knockouts? Can't actually remember that. Anyway, congratulations to them. They're playing fantastic. Toby is saying Wolfsburg are really good. Lots of you complimenting Jess Park. It was a cracking goal that she scored. Ibrahim, thank you very much for gifting 5 memberships, dude. You ledge. Right. The main part of today's show, it's going to be an intro. Now, the first thing I want to say about this, I don't know whether it's just a consequence of United playing less football. But I don't remember Michael Carrick doing that many interviews compared to what we saw the entire way through with Ruben Amorim. It felt like there was a new interview coming out at least once a week from some sort of media outlet. And I don't know whether I've just not been noticing them as much. But it feels like Michael Carrick hasn't done as many. So I'm going to run through some quotes from his interview with Mark Chapman on the BBC. If you want to watch the full interview, I think it's on BBC iPlayer. I'm probably going to do a lunchtime video on it as well. I won't run through everything. I'm just going to pick out one key top talking point, which of course, actually no, that's not it. I'll speak about it in a sec. But Postecoglou said this on the Overlap. Second time he's been in the Overlap in a couple of episodes. Presumably because, Spurs sacked their manager and, Forest sacked their manager. The 2 clubs that he was at. But mate, there is no... I want to ask you, do you think it's red-tinted specs to think this? I mean, obviously it's not completely red-tinted specs because it's Postecoglou saying it. But I genuinely feel that this Manchester United job has been the hardest job in football ever since Fergie left, really. And it just becomes even harder the further away from Fergie we seem to get, which might be a really strange thing to say. I think David Moyes may have had the impossible job, so kind of undermining myself there straight away because immediately following him was always going to be impossible. But what job out there would be hard? You could say the Real Madrid job, maybe. But there really aren't many jobs that are more difficult than the Manchester United job. That's something that Postecoglou said, and it's something I completely agree with. MN2K saying, Sam, are you surprised Ruben hasn't done an interview with Piers Morgan yet? I'll be honest, I don't think he's that much of a dick. Ronaldo is. Ronaldo went behind the club's back and did it. Remember that? On the way back from Fulham, just after Garnacho had that moment, woof. Interview comes out with Ronaldo and Piers Morgan. Yeah, cheers, lad. Top boy. I imagine Amorim's first of all, under an NDA, so he won't be able to say anything. That I don't know whether that's just industry standard when it comes to managers who are sacked. Feels like it's probably quite a standard clause to have in a contract. At some point, further down the line, you'll probably hear from Amorim. But yeah, I don't think you'll be seeing it with Piers Morgan. Anyway, Michael Carrick. So, just want to run through this. He was asked by Mark Chapman about the Manchester United job and how much he's enjoying it. Right, have a little listen to this.
If I were to ask you if you wanted it, beyond, I know you'll have a stock answer, but I also think you're probably very much just what will be, are you?
Yeah, it's not a stock answer, For me, it's the ultimate role, I love what I'm doing. I'm fortunate. I feel privileged to be in the position I am. I said it when I came in, there's the sentimental side of that, of understanding the role and coming through the club and being here and loving the club and being a supporter and all that side of it is one thing, but actually I'm here to do a job now and to make a good team and be successful. I don't decide how long that's going to be, but I love being here and while I'm here I'll give everything I can and I always plan for the long-term future for the benefit of the football club. That's how I believe it should be.
And you're very happy, aren't you?
Yeah. Have I smiled enough for you?
Yeah.
I'm loving what I'm doing. It's again, really good people. The staff are fantastic. The players have been unbelievable, and then around the city and globally, that the reaction and the support that you get is just it's very hard to describe. It's incredible. So yeah, I'm delighted to be here.
Zoom in on that smile. Wrong one. Balls. Go away, Postecoglou. Mate, Carrick speaks well, man. There's one part of the interview where he speaks about how he actually found out that he was being offered the job, and he was just like, I didn't like, and I'd run around screaming. He was just like, yeah, cool. Like, sort of took it in his stride. Yeah, Steve, I agree with you down there. Like, of course he wants the job. And I like the fact that, no, it's not a stock answer. It's the ultimate job. Carrick wants it. Now, I don't mean this from a cynical perspective. I promise you. But take, for example, Michael Carrick this week doing a 320-mile round trip to go and watch the under-18s playing the FA Youth Cup against Oxford. It's the sort of thing that you might argue that you'd like to see a Manchester United manager doing. Now, they don't always have time for that, and the fact that we do have the gap, I suppose, created the opportunity for him to do that. But I think it's also a little bit indicative of how much he wants the job, really. How important it is for him. That's a big old trip to do for the under-18s. And it was a really good interview, if I'm honest. I think Mark Chapman's a good interviewer. I think it was Mark Chapman who did a really good interview with Ruben Amorim as well at Carrington. You know, right at the very beginning when there were just a load of interviews coming out. I think it was his that I remember. I say you're saying seemingly very calm and balanced. He doesn't seem phased. I've not really seen anything that so far that strikes me as a manager that is phased. And you know, again, this I don't just want to go back and compare. It feels like a little bit of a stupid thing. But remember how much Amorim was speaking about how it was his dream job, and so he couldn't turn it down because of the timing that it came, even though he knew it wasn't the right time to join mid-season. Carrick doesn't really seem phased by any part of this. It is the ultimate job for him, but I don't know. I think the longer this goes, maybe it's just because we won 4 games in a row and drawn one. But it's like the manager market is closing, man. And someone down there, the Observer, saying, wouldn't look too hard into this. Everybody speaks well these days. Do you really think that? Do you really think every manager speaks well? No. The manager market is closing. It really is only Luis Enrique and maybe Julian Nagelsmann are the only 2 names that I think you could probably put on the consideration pile for United now. Because Glasner's gone, Ancelotti here saying, look, I'm probably going to sign another 4-year deal. So I never actually, I thought Gary Neville was a little bit wide of the mark, sort of pushing forward Ancelotti. I don't particularly think at this point in his career that it would be the right call for him. We were speaking about Ancelotti in the podcast, actually. Nick was like, he's the man that should have replaced Fergie. And we were taking a look, and I think he was at PSG at the time. And in 2013 was when Ancelotti went to Real Madrid. Should have come to United. Let me see what you're saying down here. As I said, I'm going to run through the interview in a bit more detail in the lunchtime video I've got coming out today. But I just wanted to pull that clip up there. Because for Carrick, it is the ultimate job. Of course it would be. Any player that's ever played for Manchester United, coming back to Manchester United to be the manager, it is the ultimate job in football. Let me see what you're saying down here in the chat. Maybe he's not phased because he knows it's only short term. That's an interesting way to look at it. I mean, he doesn't know it's short term. Right now it is short term. Which midfielder would I love to sign? Says X. Bit of a separate conversation, but I'm seeing loads of noise about Angelo Stiller. Where's that coming from? Ben Jacobs. Stop wasting your time, people. For real. It's exhausting. I think people just love... I think there's a certain part of United's fan base that even though they know that the source is whiffy at best and just talking a load of guff, they just love talking about transfers and love arguing about transfers, about in or out or this or that or him or her. And therefore, they'll just take crap news and just hold on to it just so they can have the conversation. That's kind of what I feel like at this point. It must be that. But what's going on down here? JC saying, I've always said it's Enrique or Carrick for me. Something about Nagelsmann I don't know. Look, I think they're the sort of currently the outstanding candidates. Hey, look, this could all change. I really hope it doesn't, by the way. But it could all change if by the end of April the results are different under Carrick. From what I've seen so far under Carrick, it feels very sustainable. It feels like we haven't just put in like a flash in the pan performance. We're actually sort of building and building and building. Obviously, we came a little bit unstuck against the low block. West Ham was the first proper low block we faced. So going into this Everton game at the weekend, unfortunately, you know what David Moyes is going to do. Why wouldn't you if you were David Moyes? You know it still remains Manchester United's Achilles heel. If you try and go toe-to-toe with United, you're probably going to leave space, and they're probably going to be able to punish you. But if you sit deep and disciplined, you really make it difficult for them. Is Mark Chapman a United fan? I didn't actually know that. Brian saying I put Sam Ford for the job and Gungshi as assistant. Well, that would collapse our football club. So I don't think we're going to be doing that. Anyway, I really enjoyed that interview from Carrick, if I'm being completely honest. And I don't know whether that's just because it's been nearly 2 weeks without football. It's nice to hear from our manager. And I don't think he's done that many interviews before. Feels like it. I think it's sustainable because he hasn't got any reinforcement. Plus, he's 2 men light in Dorgu and Delict, says Pundit. KD. No, the reason I would say it's sustainable is because of the patterns of how the games are being played. United are building up in quite a consistent shape. United are defending out of possession in quite a consistent shape. There's patterns you're seeing between games. There's patterns in games. You see United getting a late goal against Fulham with a sub. A late goal against Arsenal with a sub. You're starting to see things happen in more than one game. Kind of consistently. And that sort of consistency has been the hardest thing for us to find as a football club. First 5 games, we've certainly found it. Now we've got... who is it that we've got in the next few? It is Everton. Can't actually remember after that. Next few games. Everton. Then we play Crystal Palace at home. Then we play Newcastle away. Then Villa at home. And then Bournemouth away. That's the games in the next 1 month. 5 games. And then we've got another huge gap. 20th of March to the 11th of April. So nasty, man. That's so nasty. How long is that? Was that 22 days? Is that because that's an international break and there's like an FA Cup weekend? So is that what I think it is? I don't really know. Either way, it's naff. Right. What are we saying down here? Is getting a left back more important than a left winger? I don't think so. I think there's more possibility of United being able to, whether it's, I suppose you're looking at Dorgu. You could throw Harry Amass in there as a prospect, I suppose. I don't think Diego Leon's going to be a prospect next year. I think he'll spend next year will probably be a full season loan for him. Luke Shaw, I don't think should be here next year, but I don't know whether he will be or not. Whereas at left wing, we've kind of got Dorgu, who's not really a left winger. Cunha, who's an inside forward. That's about it. I'm sure I might be missing a couple of names, but I don't think we've got much going on that left. Yeah, mate, that is a lot. I know that we've not enjoyed. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. I know we've not enjoyed this 13-day gap without football, but we are about to walk into a significantly longer gap. So I've got to make sure that the content that we've got prepped and ready for that time, because that's actually what I've been doing. Like, I've realised how mad in the wrong way the end of this season is going to be. There's nothing real. I know we've got our Premier League games to look forward to, but they're going to be like far and few between. There's going to be huge gaps. So I really want to spend that time developing as much as I can behind the scenes. We're doing that with the short form content, which I know isn't for everybody, but the short form content, if we can make a success of it, would allow me to then reinvest back into the bigger productions. And that's something I want to announce today and just explain something before I go on. And maybe we'll speak a little bit about what Carrick said on Cobby. The productions videos on this channel is something that I'm really, really proud that we started. We started it about 18 months ago. And I always felt like it's what made United People's TV stand out. In this daily sort of churn that happens with news and reacting and stuff like that, and there's always a place for that inside United content. But I love the fact that we were able to step outside of that and deliver some little mini documentary style, short stories, really informative sometimes reactive, sometimes a bit of fun, defending a United legend, like saying how good Gary Neville was as a player, or Roy Keane. But in these last few months, we've pulled back on it quite a bit because, first of all, United just were awful. So for us to invest as much time and money as we were previously in those videos, which then nobody would watch, we couldn't really afford to do. And also because I've been working, I know I keep being vague on this, but you can kind of link it together now. We've been working on something in the background when it comes to productions and the next phase of it. And that's why we've stopped them a little bit. But I'm telling you this, we're going to be bringing them back. Going to hopefully get our first one back probably somewhere at the start of March. They're the videos I'm most proud of on this channel. And they're the videos I really think make United People's TV stand out. So I want to bring them back, and we're going to bring them back. And the first idea we've got, I'll tell you this. We want to do something on Van Persie and Arsenal and United, and how he just doesn't care that he was an Arsenal player, and he loves the fact that he joined United. I really want to do that video because I love that story. I love Van Persie, and I know it's going to wind Arsenal fans up, and all of these things I enjoy doing. So yeah, I'm going to be bringing them back. Just wanted to say that. Yeah, and it's cool, isn't it? Big up to Alex and Maddie for helping sort of update that. That's Jess Part there from yesterday. That's a Man of the Match award. We're going to try and keep this screen sort of updated because it will keep it feeling fresh every single day. That's the logic. The TikTok guys completely and utterly ignoring me. If I told you the things that I've got going on, well, I can't yet. Just some disputes I'm having with people, and I'm getting ghosted. People who are completely in the wrong. I hate people like that, man. Can't front up. Nah, just bury your head in the sand. You child. So we're still waiting for TikTok to get back to us. We've been waiting now for a week for them to respond to our copyright claim, and I don't know how much longer we're going to be waiting, but we're in the system and there's nothing else that we can do. And of course, this screen's going to be filling up at some point when we get the packs all ready to go and we can get them up on the merch shop and you can buy them. Then you can have stickers and we can get some, as I said, there's more and more and more to come with the community. It's just all these things are happening behind the scenes. Should we go back to this? Yeah, I suppose you can get Stan Chow photos going through the screen. But I've already got that there, mate. I don't need any more Stan Chow. They're posters. This is just different. Right. Carrick speaking about pundits. Just his comments here saying, it doesn't bother me one bit, genuinely. It doesn't. I'm not really going to fall out with anyone over that. I think it's a respect thing as much as anything, and I'll give and take that. I think for younger players in general, it's something we need to help them with and look after them. It's a different world now to when, say, I was coming through, but we do that and we look after them. So just Carrick's, I suppose, again, I don't particularly like going backwards, but it's just the fact that Amram spoke out so openly about the frustration he was having about pundits and the impact that they were having on the dressing room. It's not to say that I think that Amram was personally affronted by all of it. You know, kind of the way I see it, Amrin was pissed off that it was affecting the players, and I think he was annoyed that he wasn't able to stop it affecting the players, because I think he tried his best. I still do not have an answer to this. I really don't. How do you stop Manchester United's young players? Actually, no, I do know the answer to this. How do you stop Manchester United's young players being affected by what's being said by pundits and in the media? You win the Premier League. You win stuff. Because as soon as you have that success, you will realise, none of this noise actually affects all matters. However, to get there, you need to somehow push through and push past it. Like Arsenal right now. Good example, this. You are damn right that all of those players now, even the most experienced ones, in their head, they're going to be like, oh yeah, we're bottling it now. This is being bottled. They're going to start believing it. They're going to start hearing it because it's everywhere. Going into that North London derby, they're going to be thinking it. You can see that they think it in the last 10 minutes of every game. Success is the only thing that really allows United players to push through and be able to ignore punditry in the same way that Carrick probably can. It's just, it's frustrating that it impacts you on the way to doing it. It's tough, man. Right, a couple of super chats came in. Let me read some of these out. Brian saying, would you ever do a 30-minute plus doc on certain legends? Sir Bobby, Sir Alex, Munich, really go in depth. Dude, you're talking about exactly what I want to do, which is why we're working on sort of creating an extra platform, an extra part of United People's TV that would allow us to do this sort of stuff, because they are huge undertakings and they're not really the sorts of pieces of content that suit YouTube, that fit YouTube, because YouTube is a kind of a certain style of United content. And I want to create a home so that stuff like that can exist. This is something that we're working on. I've been working on it for a couple of months, but it's really, really tough. It's kind of like the next phase of United People's TV, if you want to call it that. We talk about managers and coaches. How would I be the right fit of Alan? Sorry, mate, I don't know what that comment says there. No idea what that comment says. Anuj, thank you for gifting 5 memberships, dude. Nice to see you, man. How are you? Anybody else got any questions? I feel like doing a bit of a Q&A today, if I'm honest. I'm enjoying having the chat. Mirko saying, Sam, do you think the UPTV will it ever expand to more content on the women's team? Yes, we will. I promise you we will. Just in the same way I want to bring in someone who's like a real specialist on the academy side of things. And we've got to try and find the home for those sorts of I don't think that creating I suppose you could create a whole new channel for the women's team. But I'm not sure. It feels like it might maybe suit short content first and then you sort of build it up. Maybe do some stuff on Instagram. I don't know. But you have to build up towards doing the longer form content and the live show content. Maybe you do it as lives. I don't know. But yeah. I wish that younger players were able to ignore what's said by pundits and what's said, but they can't, because even if they do it, all of their friends don't, and all of their friends will send it to them. You can't escape from it. And I think the only way that you get around it is succeeding. The only way that you can ignore it is have trophies under your belt, because that's the trump card. Doesn't matter what anybody said. Yeah, but I've won this. Yeah, but I've won that. Yeah, I know what you mean, but yeah, I've won this. That's what I mean. Success is the thing that buries that, if I'm honest. Let me see what you're saying down here. Hope you're having a good day, Sam. Where do you realistically see us finishing in the league this season? I'm hoping 4th. That's still what I'm going for. I don't think it's outside the realms of possibility. I think it's firm. I think United firmly are favourites for one of those Champions League spots. I say that right now. The results are showing that. Can we bring this consistency of the last 5 games and push that over 10 games? If you push that over 10 games, United are pretty much a shoo-in. And we've got a game coming up soon against Villa, which is going to be a big one. Villa at Old Trafford. Because, who is it? It's going to be Villa, Chelsea and Liverpool are the 3 teams who are kind of competing with us. Don't we play all 3 of them still in the remainder of the season? We haven't played at Stamford Bridge this year yet, have we? If we do, I can't remember. No, there you go. 18th of April, 15th of March. 2nd of May. We play Liverpool, Chelsea, and Villa. They're the 3 biggest remaining games this season, because if you go to the Prem table, I think they're the... I suppose Brentford, you can't really rule them out, for being honest. But we'll see. But for me, those are the 3 biggest games we've got left this season. Villa, Chelsea, and Liverpool. And Villa and Liverpool both at Old Trafford. Are you putting a 5 on Spurs at the weekend? I might have put a 10 on them. Huh. Dolmith saying, have you finished watching Sopranos? I'm getting towards the last few episodes of last season. Oh, jeez. I am episode 3 of season 5. I'm remembering stuff. Tony Blondetta's come back in. I love Steve Buscemi. Great actor. Yeah, Sunderland away is not easy. I know. But I'm just saying, in terms of the fixtures that you might call 6-pointers, it's those 3. Villa, Chelsea, and Liverpool. If United can win all 3 of those, whew, I mean, we probably won't, but we'll find out. How embarrassing for Liverpool if we finish above them. No, it's just sod Liverpool, man. Stupid football club. Right, anyway, should we just move on and speak about the game this weekend? Yeah, let's do that. Let's have a little 10-minute chat about it. What's all your feelings ahead of the game? So, of course, Monday, we're going to be live and we'll do a proper preview, because Michael Carrick's comments are going to be out. There's going to be a lot more information in detail on what to expect in Monday's show. And remember, the new Matchday Live show, which we started a couple of weeks ago, it will be back before the Everton game. So, team news, if it's an 8 o'clock kickoff, will come out at 6:45, I think, an hour and 15 before kickoff. So 6:30, I'll go live. And then we'll be live for right up until about 15 minutes before kickoff. But yeah, what's your feel like? United down there as favourites. I wouldn't put us... It doesn't feel like United are heavy favourites going into this game. I know that we are favourites on paper, but I'm nervous about this one. I think partly that nervousness comes from the fact that it's been... Well, by the time we kick off, it would have been 13 days since we played a game of football. So there's always that little niggly voice at the back of your head after you've waited that long. The sort of like more doubts creep in, if you want to call it that. Any news on Dorgu's return, says Neo. Hey, dude, there won't be any. Right? There won't be any news on Dorgu for a good long while. Alan saying, how would the right fit of manager out there who would be the right fit of manager to manage United? It's kind of the $1 million question, Alan. Right now, Carrick very much looks like a right fit. But we're 5 games in, and nobody needs to make a judgment on that just yet. He's just building his case, I suppose. 1 game at a time. And then by the time April comes around, I think around about April time is when I will allow myself to make a judgment on whether I think Michael Carrick can be United's manager. That's just my opinion. You might disagree on that. No updates on Diego Leon at this point in time. Just playing for the under-21s, I believe. This will be tougher than Villa and Liverpool, says Ant. I know what you mean, partly in the idea that United in bigger games, typically, even under Amorim, quite consistently, played better than in games that we were expected to win. And this is going to be another one of those games, that's what I mean. That West Ham game, you could say that we were expected to win, but they were also a very informed team. Everton, not really. They lost at 2-1 to Bournemouth at home in their last game. I wouldn't say it's flying this season. When they came to Old Trafford, they had Grealish and Ndiaye, and Grealish is out now. So, we're favourites, but it's going to be tough, man. Peter Court, you're going for a 2-1 win. Do I think they will sit in, says Mays. Dude, I'd be absolutely staggered if they didn't. Now, will they sit as deep as West Ham? Probably not as deep. But why wouldn't you? Like, for real. Everton, up and down season, they're not their fan base right now probably still isn't expecting them to dominate and free-flowing football. No. You've got David Moyes as your manager, lads. You very much anticipate and expect certain things to happen. What happened at Old Trafford was grim. That's the worst game we've had this season. Losing 1-0 to Everton when, who was it? Was it Gay punched Keane in the gob or slapped him in the face, got sent off for slapping his own player? United played 10 against 10 men for 75 minutes and lose a game 1-0. That was as bad as it could get. But that's how well Everton defended a 1-0 lead with 10 men. So imagine if we give away an early goal in this game. What game did we do this in? Arsenal away. Under Carrick was a good example of United being able to soak up pressure in the first 20 minutes. Go there. Lads, just do not concede. If you concede in the first 20 minutes away from home, the home crowd will always get G'd up. Same thing as what I say about us at Old Trafford. Score in the first 20 minutes, lads. It makes all the difference. All of a sudden, it becomes this daunting atmosphere. Flip reverse on away games. First 20 minutes, just stay disciplined. We don't have to play free-flowing, expansive football. Not in the first 20. Just don't let them score. Suck the life out of the crowd and then quieten them down. Bryony's saying surely Šeško starts and we ping crosses in. You might talk about Pickford there, but then on the other hand, I'll talk about Branthwaite and Tarkowski. Two very, very physical and powerful centre-backs. And if we're going to be swinging balls in, is that going to be the right... There's ums and ahs. Do I see Šeško starting? I'm going to run through my starting 11 tomorrow. I'll leave... I was going to do it today, but I think I'd rather wait to hear from Carrick. So today's lunchtime video will be all around the Carrick interview because there's quite a few more quotes that he said on Kobbie Mainoo, on the academy, on his hairdryer treatment and sort of how he deals with players. Also, when he got the first call for the job. Yeah, you know what I also said in the pod? Mate, Hill Dickinson Stadium. Is there a worse named stadium in football? Maybe. But it's right. That is awful. It is bad. Pete, you watching from Manila? Awesome, dude. Never been Philippines. I'd like to go though. What are we saying down here? One bonus of a long spell without a game is it's more time to work on niggles and injuries. You would imagine that quite a few of these United players come back feeling refreshed. Martinez, rocking the glasses. Cunha, rocking the glasses. And Boomer rocking the suit. Tracksuit days. Bruno's there as well. And this man. Anybody know why? I can't even remember why Mount was out. How long has he been out for? Again, that injury was downplayed, wasn't it? I think it was. Mount's been out for a good long time now. I like the stadium, says Big Perm. It's a bit of a German club vibe. I'm not having to go to the stadium. I'm just saying the Hill Dickinson Arena, or whatever it is. Stadium. Just what a naff name for a stadium. Meh. Andy saying like to focus on playing our game. Look, man, football is a 90-minute game. The first 15 minutes against Everton, I'm fine if we can approach it in the same way. I'm not saying the exact same way as Arsenal because Arsenal were very aggressive on the front foot. Every time we tried to play out, they pushed us back in. But we defended the box really well. And after the first 20 minutes, that's when we started expressing ourselves and opening the game up. Just don't concede in the first 15 against Everton, and you kind of burst their bubble a little bit. They'll lose belief the longer that game goes on, and I think we should do the opposite. We should gain belief the longer that game goes on, and then we start to control it more. Delict back on the bench? I don't see it. Do you want to know a mad stat? Saw this. Had to pull this up. Delict hasn't played since November, but he still has won more aerial duels than any other United player in the Premier League this season. I'm laughing because it's not particularly funny. Hasn't played in 3 months now? And still, he's the most dominant defender in the air. Huh. It's quite bad, isn't it? I don't know when he's going to be, but there's no point putting a bet on that, man. There's no point even trying to predict when De Ligt's going to be back. Because we keep hearing one thing and then it just keeps getting pushed back. I think we're hearing that at some point he should be back in early March. That's probably what we can expect, but I don't particularly know. Right, I'll tell you what though. It is Friday, which means we're about to have a bit of fun. You can see the link at the top of the chat to today's quiz. So click that, get it open. I'll leave this open for a minute or two, and then we'll start the quiz. Mate, that really is a ridiculous stat from about Delict, isn't it? One more aerial duels than any United player, despite the fact he hasn't played in 3 months. I suppose Maguire was injured for a fair bit of that. And I suppose the other defenders are kind of chopped in and out. Don't know. But the quiz, if you haven't got involved in one of these quizzes, we do it every single Friday. And 5 questions. Answer as fast as you can. You get more points the faster that you answer correctly. Whoever is top of the leaderboard after 5 questions will win a prize. And we've got all the prizes down there. Got loads of posters, loads of shirts. I do this every single week. All right? We actually gave an extra shirt away was it this week or last week? Can't remember which one. 70 of you involved and waiting. We'll wait till that gets to 100 and then we'll get on with it. Here's a crazier stat. De Ligt has seen his manager sacked or leave in every season of his professional career. Poor lad. Maybe it's De Ligt's fault. Bad energy coming from De Ligt. Well, that means he's got to go then next year. De Ligt can't be around. Fucking, I don't know what that comment is talking about. What else is saying down here? Man was a menace in the air, bleeding from his head early days. Yeah, I like De Ligt, man. I do fear whether he'll be back at the same level he was before because of it being a back injury, but I was equally as concerned about Martinez. So it's not as if he can't recover from injuries like that. Well, I suppose they're very, very, very different injuries, but did it right. You can get involved. Mikayo is saying, how can I join? If you look at the chat and go to the top of the chat, there's a link up there. It's pinned. You click that, you come through. But there's 100 people here waiting. So let's get on with today's show, with the quiz. All right? Let's get the quiz. Come on. Still like this song. I've heard it loads of times, but I still love it. You ready? Let's play. Who scored for United versus West Ham last week? Cunha, Šeško or Mbumo? I'm looking at all 7 of you who got that wrong. You know I am. Right, who's top? Nemo. We have found Nemo. And Nemo is currently top of the leaderboard. Are you ready? Question 2. After Bruno, who has the highest goal contributions per 90 in the Premier League this season? Cunha, Šeško or Mbumo? Now, if you're watching the content, you'll know the answer to this one because I did a video specifically on it. Well, not specifically on it, but I mentioned it. You didn't watch the video. See, 68. 72 of you have exposed yourselves. Going that way. Šeško. Surprised me as well. But that's why we covered it. So that's taken quite a few of you out. T. Up there at the top. They're all shouting and Mbumo down there. It's Šeško. Per 90 is creating more than Mbumo and Cunha. Goals and assists wise. It's a mad stat, isn't it? That's how impressive he's actually been. He's just playing a lot less. Knew that was going to catch a lot of you out. Question 3. Which academy player is currently on loan at Rotherham United? James Scanlon, Jacob Devaney or Gabriel Bianchetti? Gabrielle Bianchetti. That's a tough one, to be fair. Right. T, is that T still on top? Oh, Sam T. Oh, bloody hell. He's already won one. He's already won one, man. Right. Sam T. We're having a tee off. Hey! Sorry, mate. I know, dad joke. I enjoyed it. Anyway, 1, 2, 3. Next question. Who was player of the match last night for United's women's team in their win versus Atletico? Miyazawa, Zigiotti, or Park? Which we've already spoken about earlier in the show. So surely you get this right. Most of you got it right. 32 of you got it wrong. Because you didn't listen. Look at that for timing. Oh, T's been knocked off. T's gone cold. The T's gone cold. My name's Jeff. Sam T up top with a 70-point lead. Don't do an Arsenal, Sam, all right? That's all I'm saying. Because it's last question now, all right? It's last question. Think about it, think about it, think about it. Last question. Who was the last person to score for United versus Everton? Bruno, Ugarte, or Xerxes? Ha. That's a good question. Spoke about this on the pod, but I actually think I've got the goals the wrong way around. It was Ugarte. Remember that Goodison? Bruno got the equal. No, Bruno scored, I think, from outside the box. Was it a free kick? I don't know whether it was a free kick or not. And then Ugarte got the equaliser. Who wins? Is it Sam T? Oh, he's got it right. Has Jeff done enough? No. Mate, Sam, you're just rinsing the prizes. Congratulations to Sam. He's won another one. That's what happens when you tune in on a Friday. If you're good, you stay for the quiz, you win a prize. Anyway, Sam T, congratulations. My namesake. Should have been. Was it a Bruno free kick? I think it was a Bruno free kick, wasn't it? Yeah. Oh, it is. Shay Lacey. How you doing, mate? How you doing, mate? Well done, Sam. Right. And to wrap up the live shows for this week, let's get the map up, all right? Let's get the map up. Let me know where you're watching from, the town and the city. All the town. No, the country and wherever. What town, village, city, anything. Let me know where you're watching from, all right? And we'll get a few of you added onto the map. And as I said, I want to say a big thank you to everybody for tuning in again this week. You coming in here every single day. It is my daily routine, and I'm glad that you've made United People's TV part of your daily routine. It makes a big, big difference. Thank you very much. Health and Wellbeing Club. I need to go to one of them. I must say the studio's looking amazing. I'm really happy, man. I think it's taken quite a long time because, yeah, that was broken, so I had to get that fixed and replaced, and I had to get the right lights to sit in here, but I think I've nailed it. If I do say so myself, I think I've nailed it. I think so anyway. Love the lights as well. Right, let's see where you're watching from. We've got Christian watching from Galina in Poland. I've not heard of Galina. Galina? Greater Poland. No lies were told. Welcome aboard. We've got Francis watching from Zomba in Malawi. Zomba? Southern region, Malawi. Thank you very much for tuning in, dude. Let's get two more on here. Let's get two more. Why not? I don't know why I'm singing today. But I am. We've got Koala watching from Watauga. How do you say that? Watauga? In Texas. Watauga? Watauga. Yeah, I'm saying that. One more. We've also got... We've got Henrik watching from Abidjan which I think we actually had recently, but we'll get it back on the map. Ivory Coast. Awesome. Big up to all of you. I promise you at some point this is going to be interactive to the point where you can go through it and you can zoom in and see all the pins from all around the world. I'd love to have that at some point. Right then, ladies and gents. So, I'll tell you the plans for content. Today I'm going to be doing something on Carrick's interview. I think it's definitely worth covering, and there's a lot more in that interview that I haven't spoken about in today's live because there's too much to cover. Tomorrow will be the starting 11 for the Everton game. Sunday, if I can get it done in time, I'd love to do a little mini doc on United's transfer strategy, but I'll be honest, I think I've left it a little bit late, so I'm not sure when I'm going to be able to get that done. Thank you all for tuning in. Have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy yourself. There's no United to ruin it. We'll be back here on Monday, as always, for the live show. So if you are new in town, please do consider subscribing. And yeah, have a cracking weekend.